With the rise of disposable income, more and more people are spending their money on items such as the latest gadgets, clothes, and services. However, there are times when these products and services are defective, making consumers want to return or exchange them, such as the case of Attorney Marvy J. Gonzalez.
I do have experience naman sa isang item in which I bought somewhere in Alabang. Sa isang gadget store, we bought a tab. My brother-in-law and I was using the tablet and then we noticed a dead pixel. Yung parang may tama siya. So immediately I told my brother-in-law, Kuya, let's just have it replaced. On June 6 or 7, we called sa gadget store and then informed them of the defect in the item. So they require us, before going there, to have the item be inspected by the technician from the maker or the manufacturer of the tablet. Based dun sa technical report, the recommendation is not for replacement but for repair. Anyway, sabi namin, no, hindi pwede. Kasi initially, we expect the product to be perfect, walang defect or whatsoever. So at that time, sabi namin is, we will demand for the replacement for this. Sabi niya, sige sir, mag-submit kayo any demand letter or whatsoever, or any complaint para matulungan namin kayo with the maker or the manufacturer of the tablet. Sabi namin, no. We will file a demand letter for the replacement of the item to you kasi ikaw at ako, as the buyer or the dealer, at the same time as the buyer, tayo may kontrata. We are not privy to the contract between you, the dealer, and the manufacturer. So luckily naman, yung maker mismo, not the dealer the maker, called us, in which telling us, sir, we will just replace your item. Sabi ko, okay, we're happy na you consider replacing it, not just repairing it.
Is there really a no return, no exchange policy? What does the Consumer Rights Act state regarding the return and exchange of defective products and services? What remedies can consumers seek if they are victims of this policy? Good evening, you are watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight, we will discuss your legal rights on the issue of no return, no exchange policy. What you need to know and do should a business establishment enforce this policy against you after you purchase a product or service.
Our guest for tonight is Mr. Gerald Calderon, Officer in Charge for the Bureau of Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection of the DTI, and Attorney Voltaire Duano, Professor of Commercial Law at the San Sebastian College. Good evening po, Officer Calderon and Attorney Volts.
Yeah, Attorney Volts.
Good evening, Attorney Cardi.
Yeah.
Mr. Gerald. So yeah, a very interesting topic once again. No?
Yes,
very,
I like our topic kasi
Yeah.
ako growing up, before I took up law and became a lawyer, parang ilang beses ako naging victim nitong no exchange. No return,
madalas ka
no
mag-shopping kasi.
Kasi mga pagbabae, di ba? Tapos minsan, yan, pag maling size or may nakita akong sira. Tapos may mga times before I tried to return items and then sasabihin sa akin, no, tignan niyo sa receipt, nakalagay no return, no exchange policy.
So ano nga ba, what is the real rule? Is it allowed for these establishments to have a no return, no exchange policy? Maybe we start with the Officer Gerald of the DTI, no?
Good evening, Attorney Rod. Good evening, Attorney Karen. Under the Consumer Act, the no return, no exchange policy is prohibited.
Prohibited. So
Yes.
bawal talaga.
Bawal po talaga yan. Hindi po pwedeng makita ng consumer sa resibo or
Signage,
anumang tapat ng tindahan. Bawal po yun. Kung
So,
anumang signage.
sir, kasama na dito, kasi normally, iniisip lang natin electronics, damit. Kasama na po ba dito yung mga grocery stores?
Yes.
So, it includes food as
Yes,
well?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Now, see, Attorney Duano, what are the remedies? No? Yun nga, normally you, as a consumer, you buy something and you feel compelled to return it because of usually some defect. What is the typical remedy? No, you as a practicing lawyer,
Yeah, if the store insists that there's no return, no exchange.
Of course, the remedy that they can resort is that they can file a complaint before the Department of the DTI, who has also administrative
office nila, Officer
jurisdiction.
Calderon.
And also they can resort to filing a criminal and civil case.
Criminal and civil case. What type of criminal case can they file?
The criminal case is actually a violation of the consumer product and supply warranties. And also if there is a no return, no exchange policy is actually a form of a deceitful sales practice. And this is by law punishable by the Consumer Act.
Now, this is by sa revised penal code or sa Consumer Act itself?
It's in the Consumer Act, that's Public Act 7394.
I'd like to ask Officer Calderon, ano po yung what types of penalties can stores or retailers face if they still insist on a no return, no exchange policy?
Sa ating pong sa administrative penalties under the Consumer Act, we have fines ranging from 500
500 lang?
to 300,000.
Okay, 300,000 is pretty
300,000,
substantial.
yes. Depending on the capitalization of that store. And we do also have minimum, medium, and maximum penalties for that matter.
What about the closure of the establishment? Is that possible?
The closure of establishments is also included as one of the administrative penalties provided for under the Consumer Act. And there are grounds for cancellation of business name. Under the business name law.
Okay, so medyo mabigat din
mabigat
pala.
din.
And one thing I was thinking about dun sa case study natin today kay Attorney Marvy, it's a good thing that he's a lawyer, so he was really insisting na we're not going to accept a repair of the defective tablet that we bought. We want a change of the item. But is that also possible? So, assuming you have a store that fine, wala silang no return, no exchange policy, but when you're returning a defective item, they insist that they will just repair it, not replace it. What can the consumer do? Or can they report that to the TTI?
Well, before I answer that, attorney, we do have a 3 R's under the Consumer Act. The remedies provided for to the consumer. We have the repair, refund, or replace.
Okay.
So in that case, if the store does not honor the product to be repaired, they can bring the matter or the complaint to the Department of Trade and
So,
Industry.
sorry, just to clarify, Officer Calderon, the 3 R's, yung refund, repair, and return, they are the choices of the
Yes.
consumer.
Yes,
Hindi
yes.
pwedeng yung store yung mag-insist na, no, we will only repair, as in the case of Attorney Marvy, yung
Yes.
You have to
share
give,
ng
you have
store
to give
niya.
the customer the option.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
customer who can
choose the
choose what remedy.
If the product can be repaired according to its nature, pwede naman pong i-repair. But if continuous pa rin yung kanyang problema doon sa produkto na yon, the consumer has a choice now, either to replace or refund.
So the store technically can just insist na we will only repair, not refund or exchange.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Now, with regards to Attorney Volts, no, yung the remedy that we were talking about, where do they normally file it? You mentioned earlier there were criminal penalties, di ba? Criminal penalties. But do they file it sa DTI or sa Regional Trial Court?
The TTI is actually the aspect of violation of the consumer law is administrative. Now, when you go to regular courts, it's a civil and criminal. So that's where will you enforce the warranty. There is what we call the full warranty, when subject to certain conditions. When full warranty actually entitles the consumer to not only to refund but also to a replacement. But when it's not a full warranty, because there are certain conditions why a consumer is entitled to a full warranty. A full warranty provides that there should be, the seller provides for a remedial measure of a defective product, so at no cost to the consumer. And then second, it also provides a provision that the seller has the option either to ask for a replacement or refund in the event that after several attempts of repairing it, and then the product continues to be defective and malfunctioning. So that's the form of full warranty.
Okay.
And if the court should find certain violations like what has been violated, express warranty or implied warranty, there are several remedies entitled to the consumer. If it is an express warranty, he can ask for a repair or replacement. So the option belongs to the seller. And if it has been found out that the defect is due to the unreasonable use of the consumer, then there is no...
Yeah. But do they have to go to the DTI first before they go to the regional trial courts to enforce the penal clauses, or can they go directly to the regional trial court to enforce those penalties?
It's actually a separate violation, so they can go both
Sabay,
ways.
no? They can even go sabay,
not-
complain to the DTI, and then file the case.
It's not a
So-
violation of forum shopping.
There's a lot of questions
Yeah,
right
we're
now from our
deluged.
social networking sites. Let's try to answer a few of them with the help of our guests. Our first question is from Anton, and he asks, I purchased an appliance at a hardware store and upon using it found that it was defective. I returned to the store and asked for a refund, but they refused and told me that they will only replace it. I did not agree, but seeing as that I did not have a choice at that time, I accepted the exchange. I now learned that the replacement product is still defective, and now I really want to just get the refund and just buy from another store. Can I do this, or will the store only replace again the defective product? This is what we've been discussing so far. Who has a right to insist kung ano yung gusto? Kasi he was saying, no, replace. But they only, no, refund. They only said, we'll replace it. Tapos defective your replacement. Can the seller in this case keep insisting, no, we'll replace it again with another product?
Yeah.
Yes,
for
sorry,
you,
officer.
for you,
Yeah.
Okay. Although there are three remedies available. We have the repair,
Refund.
and
Refund
replace.
and replace, yes.
Okay, these remedies are alternative. If the repair is really not make good the products really functioning, all the consumer has a choice but to refund or to replace.
So
Okay,
pwede,
so
pwede.
it's upon the consumer
Yes,
pala.
yes.
It's the consumer that can insist. If he prefers a refund, the seller cannot refuse to refund
Yes.
and cannot insist na no, will only replace. Okay,
all right.
that's good.
Okay.
So I hope
All right.
that answers the question. No?
All right, our next question naman is from Sabrina. And she shares, I bought my brother a new phone from an online shopping site. Now, when we got the product and used it, it wasn't functioning properly. Now, we called the customer service and asked for a replacement. They consented and told us that they will give us another phone the following week. Now, when the product arrived, it was still defective. So we called the online store again, and the agent told us that they will no longer grant us a replacement of the defective product. Can they do this? Is it written somewhere that replacements can only be done once? Is there a parang limitation on the number, attorney? Bo?
Actually, there's no limitation as long as the product is continues to be defective. Replacement will
They have to keep replacing
Yeah,
or
they have to keep it.
eventually refund kung
Yeah,
ayaw na
refund.
nung buyer ng replacement.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's correct.
so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Walang,
Now, if let's say it's not defective, or perhaps it's just I changed my mind. I did like the color. I changed my mind on the color.
that's very, in the US,
Yeah,
you
in
can
the- yeah.
do that.
In the
diba?
US, I
Pag
know, if you just
nagbago
change your
isip mo,
mind.
you just return it.
Let's say if sa mga ganun ba, let's say I just changed my mind. I bought a blue one, a blue casing, but it didn't fit me pala. I actually prefer red. So can you do that and insist that it can be exchanged? Yeah. Yes.
Well, basically, a mere change of mind is not.
It's not
It can be a goodwill to the store.
Okay. Good.
But as long as the
But they're not obliged. The store is not obliged to exchange
no,
it.
So-
it's up to the It's up to the store's goodwill.
Okay,
whether or not
so the
to
rule of
change.
thumb is we're not like the US. If you change your mind,
Oh.
you're stuck with the product
Yeah.
unless it's store policy to allow
Yeah.
exchanges.
Eh, sa US pa nga,
Okay.
you buy from one branch. Let's say in New York, you go to LA, you can still
Yeah.
exchange it. So
Yeah.
in another branch in LA. So that to me is a very mature market.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
think we're
Unless
probably
it's
not ready.
defective.
Culturally, Attorney Boss, you were mentioning culturally we're
Yeah.
not ready for it, no?
We still have a lot to discuss, but for now we have to take a break. Legal Help Desk will return after these reminders. You're still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel. And we are still joined by our guest, Mr. Calderon, Officer in Charge of the Bureau of Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection of the DTI, and Attorney Duano, Professor at San Sebastian College. So good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah. Okay, so Karen, you had one question, right?
During the break, I was asking, kasi may nangyari sa akin before, na merong item na nakalagay siya sa isang rack na may nakalagay ng mga presyo, but the item itself did not have a price, na walang price tag. So, I bought it thinking na kung ano yung label doon, nakalagay sale item, yun yung price niya. So, sinama ko siya sa iba kong binili. When I got home, I noticed sa receipt na ang mahal pala ng item. So, in that case, can I go back and ask for a refund or ask for a replacement or store credit, considering that I would have felt deceived na nakalagay siya dun sa rack na kala mo sale.
Kala mo sale, yun pala.
In that case, attorney, consumers before they buy should have a choice. Kailangan, before they buy a particular product, kailangan pumunta sila, mag-canvas sila so that they have at least a comparison which one they will go to buy.
Well, in this case, it's the way they put it in their store display. So I guess I have to be extra vigilant na pagka riniring na yung presyo, kailangan tignan ko talaga dun sa cashier and sa resibo.
Yes.
And in that case, if I already bought it and went home tapos wala namang defect and then hindi ko lang napansin na mahal pala because it's not really what's in the label dun sa rack, I cannot ask for a refund or exchange?
No, it's still up to the store's goodwill whether or not they will exchange it.
Okay.
Well, Attorney Duano, this whole concept of caveat emptor, which is, which means about buyer beware, no? Which means that anything that you're buying, you're assumed to have, as a buyer, you're assumed to have practiced, or exercised due diligence in checking the item out. No? How much of a defense is that for mga establishments? How much can they invoke that defense? Well, you didn't check it out. You should have checked it out.
Like for instance, Attorney Duano and Officer Calderon, paano yung pagka mga nakaseal, tapos yung defect pag uwi mo na nakita. Like, this happens a lot, especially pag groceries, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang minsan, a whole pack of eggs, tapos dalawa doon broken. Minsan, buti nga eggs, mura lang but it's hard to go back and say,
milk or something. It's
or
spoiled.
milk that is spoiled. Paano kung nabuksan mo na or na-try mo na? Can you still ask for a refund in that case or a replacement pagka may defect?
Actually, that would be the form of a hidden defect because there are certain products that you will never know that it is defective unless you use it.
Right.
So in that case, it's not more of a defense that you're not being
so the store can say, nabuksan mo na we can't replace it
Yeah.
anymore. So you can still demand a refund or replacement.
Especially if you can prove that the product has been contaminated.
Right.
And what would be the best evidence? Pag nauwi mo na and then, of course, you discover it at home and then you go back there, of course, yung magiging problema dito, your word against
mine,
the store's word.
It's actually a question of fact that whether they would believe that because they would just make it as a defense that what would prevent you in contaminating it.
Yeah.
So it's another issue actually. It's
more
a rule of evidence,
evidentiary,
yes,
and I guess,
evidentiary.
Now, is it required when you're filing for, you're looking for a remedy in this case? No? Is it required that you present the receipt to the establishment?
Oo, kasi may iba nakalagay sa rules sa Manila, no return, no exchange without the receipt. Is that allowed?
No, basically, ang isang proof diyan, it's the receipt. However, in the case of there is no receipt, you can be replaced with the warranty card.
Warranty card. Okay.
What if I have the date and the time when I purchased it, and they have their records, diba? They have their own records of computerized na, it's sometimes POS. Can I just parang cross-reference it to their receipts, and then if it's there, then I can claim it. Or if they say no, it's here in our receipts, pero you don't have the OR your copy, then sorry, no return, no exchange. Can they do that?
No, as long as there is a warranty card, and actually the retailer is required to report the sales to the manufacturers. So they have their data,
Okay.
and you can at least
So I can
check
ask,
that.
we can ask for that
Yes.
from the
So
manufacturer.
basically, in short, it's not legal for stores to
Require.
make up rules na if you don't give us the receipt, we won't exchange or allow a return of the product, even if the product is defective. Okay.
Okay.
That's good to know. Now
right.
let's continue answering some questions sent to us by our viewers via social media. Gina wants to know, what steps can we do as buyers to protect ourselves from establishments that practice the no return, no exchange policy?
Ayan.
I guess this
So
is a
you-
question for Officer Calderon.
They're not
especially.
buying yet, but they just see establishments. I guess that's the question. No? She
Or how
not
can they
say,
protect themselves?
nakikita
Oo.
nila na parang they're no return, no exchange. Can they just file a complaint to the DTI na parang, hey, this store has this sign, no return, no
Or
exchange?
maybe in their experience
Yeah.
na may binili sila na defective tapos
Yeah.
talagang linalaban ng store, no, sorry, it's our policy. no
How can they
return,
protect
exchange."
themselves?
Well, actually, ang platform lang naman yung nagkaiba doon eh. Irrespective of whether or not it is in the form of traditional sales or in the online sales, yung no return exchange policy would still, the provision against no return exchange policy would still apply.
So they can report these.
Yes.
Kahit wala silang binili sa establishment, as long as they see that an establishment has this rule, they can report the
Yes.
establishment to the
To the-
DTI.
yes, yes,
How
they can.
easy is it to report to DTI?
They can just go to the nearest DTI office, or they can dial 751-3330.
751-3330.
And to look for Mr. Calderon.
After this show, biglang madami na tatawag.
Delusions with calls. No? All right, our next question naman is from James. And he asks, I've seen a lot of online shopping sites on Facebook and the like, where the seller posts guidelines that states they have a no return, no exchange policy. Now, the question is, are online shopping sites excused from the law that states no business establishments can print or display these words in their receipts or within the premises of their business? So covered ba yung mga online establishments?
They're still covered.
They are
They're still
covered. Okay, so even if they're not issuing official receipts.
Yes, they're still
Okay.
covered.
So even if I'm, I met a waitress one time and she was comparing my phone with hers, and then she said she got hers at half the price. Sabi ko, where did you get that? Oh, there was just this guy who sold it to me. So she didn't get it from a store. Yung mga ganun ba, yung mga casual sellers na ganun, those were not in, don't have
Or yung
stalls
mga
or stores.
online selling sites.
Yeah,
like,
mga casual
na parang-
online
yeah.
site, yeah. Covered sila by,
Yes,
by,
yes,
by
they're
these?
still covered. Yes.
So you can file a complaint in the
Yes,
DTI
yes,
against them
yes.
as long as there was a sale.
Yes.
Even if they're not regularly in the trade, they just sold it once.
Well, as long as they have a business name with us, they are covered by this prohibition.
So kung platform lang pala na individual seller, baka mas mahirap i-complain sa DTI.
And if they're regularly engaged in such a business.
Kung individual seller nga, not in
Kasi
regular
may mga
trade.
ganung platforms, di ba? Meaning, online site, tapos merong individual sellers na nagbebenta ng products.
Yeah.
Tapos lalagay nila brand new item. Pero kung meron ng defect, pero hindi sila store, they're not a business person.
And they're not registered with,
Yes,
with the
with the
DTI.
DTI. Mas mahirap
so, mas
ako.
mahirap, no? So in that case, we'll probably file a case sa regular courts, no?
Yes.
Would that be, I guess, civil and criminal cases?
Yes, that would be a criminal and civil case.
And again, just to reaffirm what you mentioned earlier, they can do it all sabay-sabay. They can file an administrative case sa DTI. They can go for a civil case under the rules on conditions and warranties, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And they can also go for criminal criminal remedy.
Okay.
For ano.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We have another Twitter question from Gerard Navarro, and he asks, can online shopping sites give refunds? What about hidden fees that are so misleading from the ads? Okay.
Ayan. So, anong
Interesting
natin?
question.
Yeah.
Paano nga yun? Pagka merong hidden fees that you were not aware of, pero pagkabili mo ng product, normally yung ganyan, nasa study mo lang after mo ng bayaran, di ba? Can you then demand a refund saying that you were misled into buying this product na hindi mo siya bibilihin kung kasama lahat ng fees na yun?
Yes, there's no distinction between traditional selling and online shopping. They're still covered by the Consumer Act of the Philippines because what is one of the requirements of under the Consumer Act is full disclosure of all the transactions that should
Okay.
be known by the consumer.
So kung nasa fine print yon, even if you've already paid it, then you can still complain against the seller and then demand a refund. Okay,
If
that's
there's a
good to
defect-
know.
defect.
Now, final question, pahabol. I know we're running out of time, but sale items, and I always have a problem with this because I always buy.
Nakakatawa,
I always buy.
hinahabol talaga.
I always
Pero
buy
ako
on
rin,
sale.
curious din ako eh. Oo.
Di ba pag sale item or promo item,
Yun yung
can they?
problema.
Can they
I was
exist?
gonna ask that kasi ang daming sale pagka nasa store, no fitting, tapos nakalagay pa, no fitting and then no
No return,
refund, no exchange. Eh paano yun? Hindi ko na nga nasukat. So paano kung malaki or maliit sa akin? Is that allowed?
Basically, dapat hindi po allowed dyan. Ano? Ang sales items should always be disclosed.
Whether on regular sale or promo sale,
Yes, they should have to be
okay.
disclosed.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so
pagka
it's
no
clear.
fitting, pwede naman yon. But, you should be able to return it or bawal yung no fitting?
How will you be able to know the size
Oo
of
nga eh. Yeah, that's good.
Dapat talaga
Okay.
eh. Oo.
So,
that's
Mr.
fair.
Calderon, I'll be
Sir,
calling
yeah.
you pag may nahanap ako ganong store, ah.
Me and Karen will be the one calling you, and Attorney Duano will be our lawyer. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. We would like to thank our guests for tonight, Mr. Gerald Calderon of the Bureau of Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection of the DTI, and Attorney Voltaire of Volts Duano, Professor of Commercial Law at the San Sebastian College, for being with us tonight. I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno.
And I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Join us again next Monday as we talk about your legal rights. Good night. Thank you. I'm a lawyer. Parang ilang beses ako naging victim nitong no exchange. No return,
Madalas ka
no exchange.
mag-shopping kasi.
Kasi mga pagbabae, di ba? Tapos minsan, yan, pag mali size or may nakita akong sira. Tapos may mga times before I tried to return items and then sasabihin sa akin, no, tignan niyo sa receipt, nakalagay no return, no exchange policy.
So ano nga ba, what is the real rule? Is it allowed for these establishments to have a no return, no exchange policy? Maybe we start with the Officer Gerald of the DTI, no?
Good evening, Attorney
evening.
Rod. Good evening, Attorney Karen. Under the Consumer Act, the no return, no exchange policy is prohibited.
Prohibited. So
Yes.
bawal talaga.
Bawal po talaga yan. Hindi po pwedeng makita ng consumer sa resibo or
Signage,
anumang tapat ng tindahan. Bawal po yun kung
So,
anumang signage.
sir, kasama na dito, kasi normally, iniisip lang natin electronic,
With the rise of disposable income, more and more people are spending their money on items such as the latest gadgets, clothes, and services. However, there are times when these products and services are defective, making consumers want to return or exchange them. Such is the case of Attorney Marvy J. Gonzalez.
I do have experience naman sa isang item in which I bought somewhere in Alabang. Sa isang gadget store, we bought a tab.
Good evening, you are watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight, we will discuss your legal rights on the issue of no return, no exchange policy. What you need to know and do should a business establishment enforce this policy against you after you purchase a product or service.
Our guest for tonight is Mr. Gerald Calderon Officer in charge for the Bureau of Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection of the DTI, and Attorney Voltaire Duano, Professor of Commercial Law at the San Sebastian College. Good evening po, Officer Calderon and Attorney Volts.
Yeah, Attorney Volts.
Good evening, Attorney Carly.
Yeah.
Mr. Gerald. So yan, a very interesting topic once again. No?
Yeah,
And very,
I like our topic kasi
Yeah.
ako growing up, before I took up law and became
Tulungan namin kayo with the maker or the manufacturer of the tablet. Sabi namin, no. We will file a demand letter for the replacement of the item to you kasi ikaw at ako, as you as the buyer or the dealer, at the same time as the buyer, tayo may kontrata. Wala kaming, we are not privy to the contract between you, the dealer, and the manufacturer. So luckily naman, yung maker mismo, not the dealer ha, the maker, called us, in which telling us, sir, we will just replace your item. Sabi ko, okay, we're happy na you consider replacing it, not just repairing it.
Is there really a no return, no exchange policy? What does the Consumer Rights Act state regarding the return and exchange of defective products and services? What remedies can consumers seek if they are victims of this policy?
My brother-in-law and I was using the tablet and then we noticed a dead pixel. Yung parang may tama siya. So immediately I told my brother-in-law, Kuya, let's just have it replaced. On June 6 or 7, we called sa gadget store and then informed them of the defect in the item. So they require us, before going there, to have the item be inspected by the technician from the maker or the manufacturer of the tablet. Based dun sa technical report, the recommendation is not for replacement but for repair. And we sabi namin, no, hindi pwede. Kasi initially, we expect the product to be perfect, walang defect or whatsoever. So that time, sabi namin is, we will demand for the replacement for this. Sabi niya, sige sir, mag-submit kayo any demand letter or whatsoever, or any complaint para